MTN Momo is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Abantu nyina bakibale kagadi kakumiro na hadi hona mutabaruke habwokuba byansika arguza egabude obone baletera mibazi yona eyabuzireyira ikara nogya Kampala manya Kenya manya Dubai nogitoza hati nurekeraho genda bugenda mu batyasika arguza yona emibaze roho okukebera omubiri gwono kamanya na kyorwaire byona byabusa iwo kwenda kukebera kompyuta kwigula ebinywa kandi inyo bakasitoma babo abakuru inyo bakubahereza special care bakusubuza green tea habeya y'omusubuzi okuterwa mutwe kuterwa mutima ekiriroliro mu mubiri kuruma no kuzimba ebigere ulcers hernia sukari pressure kusanyarara omusujja ogutakira kuruma omugongo kuruma munda amani geksaija negekazi toine iwo karwara amaino habokwane oboka bakuletera mbazi gwa amaino ogubakweta high quality toothpaste bakusemereza buhereza high naiwe buli kya baraza babaho nyamarunda town council hasanyuka bar and lodge kandi kuruga kya kabiri kya kasatu kya kana kya katano kya mukaga hamuna kya sande baba karuguza ha office zabu enkuru ha muhanda gwa kikada waruga hasitani big bank hakona house ne kyapa kibahoja kwa no kirora genda akasenti ko gule mibazi niko bakwijanja bokire abokumanya bikiraho baza nabo haziro msanju munana mukaga 13 04 00 na 0740 kenda na 5 10 23 Yanshi together we share.
For how Chinese bantu baingi muno ohulira kyansimba hano nkwata hamugongo ekifuba kikulemera oburumi munyingo mu baitu hati wekwata ba for how Chinese bano ni bayijanja banokira kimu ebirwaire no biraga nenkoro yawe yekikugu baine byoma ebya meridian therapy nibikonyera okwigula ebinywa kutereza emigongo alinywa bakusasa nibakumara mu busasi bona bwino munyingo hati nywa bakuzimbe bigere mugende mubayikire nibakora handwereza maiso nibajanja basukali harusazi okwetaga kusara size okendezo munyeto gwine oine kizibu kyo kusanyarara hamuna inywa abateirwe stroke niba batereza ni mugaruka okurungi muno abafo how Chinese hano mukaruguza basange amuhanda gwa kizizi ogugenda ha vision hakiomba ko kyakona house haihine ichundiro lya magiteri yaka opposite Millennium Guest House rundi baterera namba ze simu 0 kinana na mnana msanju na msanju asatu na mnana na 0 mwenda nkaga na ibiri kinana na isatu anna nemu for how Chinese hamuno bwijanja byo burungi.
Esaha zikire msanje zeihangwe ohulirize kedyar chikumi katonze isatu fama akaire kanu nikakuleterwa
MTN voice bundles ezikutera network zona habei dondolo migasita chikumi sita ibiri mu hash rundo yekonyeza my MTN app okome mu daily bundle habo kuba butukuba zaitwena titukwemerezibwa. MTN Uganda Limited nerolerwa Uganda Communications Commission.
Man hangs self over accumulated loans in Kibale. Government approves pay rise for science head teachers. The police. Government to compensate Rwanda's widow 11 billion shillings for contested land in Chankwanzi. And Trump vows day one tariffs on Mexico, Canada and China. These and more stories next in the detail. A very good afternoon. It is a minute past 1 p.m. My name is Deo Asiimwe. I welcome you to this broadcast of KDR News. Now the detail. A 48-year-old man has allegedly committed suicide on a mango tree in Kibale district. The deceased has been identified as John Nkadrubo Abudu, a resident of Busesobi in Matsale sub-county Kibale district, whose lifeless body was discovered by residents last night dangling on a mango tree near his home. The cause of the deceased to commit suicide remains unclear, but preliminary investigations indicate that Nkarbo had an accumulated bank loan of 20 million shillings, which could have forced him to end his own life. By press time today morning, Nyamarua police had reached the scene to investigate the matter. KDR will bring you more details on this story in subsequent bulletins. Away from that, science secondary school head teachers have become one of the highest paid groups of public officers at the local government level, with their monthly salary now increased to 6.5 million shillings. This development follows a revised salary structure issued by the Ministry of Public Service in a circular dated 19th of this month. The document signed by the Permanent Secretary, Catherine Bitarakwati, outlines updated salary scales for post-primary teachers, laboratory staff, and specific officers within the Uganda Police Force and prison services. Under the new structure, science head teachers will see their pay jump from 2.3 million shillings to 6.5 million shillings, while science deputy head teachers will receive an increase from 1.7 million shillings to 4.5 million shillings per month. These changes are effective July this year, which means that the beneficiaries will be getting retroactive top-up payments for 4 months, while science head teachers and their deputies receive pay rise from the government. Their counterparts, arts head teachers and their deputies, primary school head teachers, and those teaching humanities and arts subjects are left with gloomy faces, opposing the salary disparity that has seen them earning peanuts. Following this development, the Uganda National Teachers Union, UNATU, has announced its intention to take on a strike next year if the remaining teachers are not considered for a pay rise in the upcoming budget. Philbert Baguma, the UNATU Secretary General, reveals that they have already notified the relevant ministries about the issue as required by law, noting that their members will not enter classrooms come next term, regardless of the circumstances, come rain or shine. Meanwhile, in addition to the head teachers and deputy head teachers, men and women in the Uganda Police Force and Uganda Prison Service, including those in legal, scientific, professional and general categories, from the rank of Sergeant of Police, Sergeant Warder, Wardress to Special Police Constable, have also benefited from the revised salary structure. Now, the government has announced plans to compensate Patricia Linda Nyakairima, widow of the late General Aronda Nyakairima, with 11 billion shillings for a disputed piece of land in Chankwanzi district. The land, approximately 5 square miles in size, spans villages of Cherere North, Cherere East, Chiyuni Central, Chiriajobyo West, and Kibanda in Nigayaza sub-county. In February 2022, over 1,000 families residing on the contested land were forcefully evicted, sparking outrage and protests. Residents accused Patricia Linda Nyakairima of fraudulently acquiring the land title despite their long-standing settlement since the 1940s. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, addressing affected residents during a burial of an elderly resident in Kiyuni village, revealed that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni directed the government to compensate Linda Nyakairima to allow displaced families to return on their land. Nabanja stated that 3 billion shillings will be paid this financial year as part of the phased 11 billion shillings compensation package. Dr. John Impuga, the Chankwanzi Local Council 5 chairperson, highlights the devastating impact of the eviction on residents' livelihoods and calls for swift government action to ensure the families return to their land. Leo Sam Sebalunzi, the Local Council 3 chairperson of Vigayaza sub-county, has welcomed the compensation initiative, noting that many affected families have since fallen into abject poverty. Now, crossing over to Kasese district, the residents are calling for urgent government intervention, accusing the resident district commissioner RDC Joel Walisimbi of obstructing efforts to resolve a long-standing land dispute that has left over 47,000 people displaced. The dispute resolves around Ibuga Kisanga area known as Kyabatukura, where residents claim they were forcefully evicted in 2007 under the pretext of resettling refugees. Many say that the eviction led to violence, loss of life, and severe disruption to their livelihoods. Since then, the displaced residents have lived in an internally displaced persons camp in Bigando, facing harsh living conditions. In 2009, the aggrieved residents filed a lawsuit against the government seeking justice for their plight, and high courts in Kabarole referred the matter to arbitration, resulting in an agreement to demarcate the disputed land's boundaries. However, the victims claim the agreement remains unfulfilled. Residents now allege that the resident district commissioner Joel Walsimbi has colluded with illegal occupants of the land, further delaying their resettlement. Dixon Imbusa, the vice chairperson of the Ibuga Kyabatukura victims, accused the RDC of using his position to protect land grabbers at the expense of the displaced community. Aggrieved residents are now appealing to the president to intervene and address the actions of the RDC, arguing that their struggle is not just about the reclaiming of their ancestral land, but also about handing over a decade of marginalizing and hardships. However, RDC Joel Walsembe has denied the allegations, asserting that he has no personal interest in the disputed land. Now, Simon Peter Mulisa, the Kole District Internal Security Officer, has died in a motor accident in Kiryandongo District. The accident occurred last evening in Kaduku 2 village, Masindi Port sub-county, and according to information, Mulisa was driving a Toyota Hilux with vehicle registration number UG 4543-C when he failed to negotiate a sharp corner in Kaduku village. The vehicle veered off the road, overturned several times, and Mulisa was killed instantly. Reports indicate that Musila, who was alone in the vehicle at the time of the accident, was on his way from Masindi town, heading to Masindi Port Ferry Station to connect to Kole District. Julius Alan Hachiza, the Albertine Regional Police spokesperson, has confirmed the accident, noting that the body of the deceased was transported to Kiryandongo General Hospital mortuary, where it is currently awaiting postmortem. He reveals that the preliminary investigations suggest that the speeding of the vehicle may have been a factor in the crash, adding that the wreckage of the vehicle has been towed to Kaduku Police Station for further examination.
You are still listening to KDR News Broadcast. This is the news on the international scene.
For the news on the international scene, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump says he will hit China, Mexico, and Canada with new tariffs on day one of his presidency in an effort to force them to crack down on illegal immigration and drug smuggling in the United States. Trump notes that immediately after his inauguration on 20th of January next year, he will sign an exclusive order imposing a 25% tariff on all goods coming from Mexico and Canada. He also reveals that an additional 10% tariff will be levied on China until the government there blocks smuggling of synthetic opioid fentanyl drug from the country. If Trump follows through with the threats, it will mark a major escalation in tensions with America's three biggest trading partners. The measures have the potential to cause disruptions to the global supply chain and will hit the three countries targeted by the tariffs very hard. Dear listener, it is 12 minutes past 1 p.m. We take a quick look on the top stories as we mark the end of today's evening afternoon bulletin. Man commits suicide over accumulated loans in Kibale. Government approves pay rise for science head teachers. Police. Government to compensate Rwanda's widow 11 billion shillings for contested land in Chankwanzi. And Trump vows day one tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. And that marks the end of today's afternoon bulletin. My name is Deo Asiimwe. I wish you the best of your lunch. And please stay with us. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at KDR FM Official. And on TikTok, it is KDR 100.3 FM. On YouTube, it is Kariguza Development Radio. And on X, as well as on our website, that is www.kdrfmradio.com. Nice lunch.